Welcome. We're going to take a look today at a new app called Obsidian, newish app called Obsidian, which is a note-taking app. They talk about take great notes that outlive you, which is cool. And they outlive you because they are plain text. Well, they're marked down, but that's just .md on the file instead of .txt. And they outlive you there, and it's up to you, right? You own all your notes. So it's been compared to Roam Research a bunch. Roam, they don't own your notes, but like they store your notes. And it's actually all like the plain text idea that all got me thinking about Patrick Roan's very recent "Please print a journaling rant" talking about the longevity of notebooks. Notebooks, right here. I've got my notebook that sits beside me all the day, and that I take notes in. It's a notebook. So today we're going to give you a quick tour of Obsidian. What I've been using it for, what I like about it, what I don't love about it in some respects, and just a quick tour intro for those of you that are getting started with Obsidian on version 0.6.0, which will probably change because they update like every couple days. Buckle up. So here we are in Obsidian. It's got, you can see I've got two notes actually. I've got my daily note. It does not hinge on daily notes as much as Roam Research does. Roam Research is kind of built around that. And in fact, I'll hit Command comma on Mac, but this is also just in your settings down here. Under plugins, there's a daily notes plugin, right? Word count, daily notes. So this, I didn't even turn this on at the first. And what you can do with daily notes too is I've set it up. The date format that I want, new file location is in the daily folder. I'll show you that in a second. And it's going to start with template.md, which for me already had the review and Vim notes in it. And Command L, which is a keyboard command I set, and I have my file explorer, and I can see dailies right here. And there's my notes from the last few days. You can see up there, it's syncing it too, which kind of nerdy why I'm doing that. Maybe I'll talk about that at the end. We'll put that under the iOS about your sync. So when you get started, let's even just drop this note out for now. Shift Command R to open up this. What you're going to get is stuff like this. You're going to get your first note. Now I've got tons of notes in here already. You're going to get backlinks. Let's actually find an even better one than that. Let's go to the second mountain because I know there's stuff in here. So you can see show off a book note from the second mountain, which is in my getting started with Obsidian note, which is just what we're doing right here. And also we'll show any unlinked mentions, which are none at this moment. So an unlinked mention, it would be, say we have double brackets here. These are called wiki links. And if I said the second mountain, but didn't, what can we do it? Notes. I can go the second mountain. Now we should have an unlinked mention showing up here. Notes the second mountain. I can even hit click and link, and I have the second mountain. So you can see it is now linked. I don't actually want that note. Delete. So this can help you find connections in your notes. So what I've got here is I've got a bunch of books that I wanted. Let's go to the marriage one since I know it's tagged. And I've marked it as marriage and to read. What I'm hoping long term is that we'll continue to find books in a category. So marriage to read that lots of other books mention. So it means I should go read it because it's being mentioned in lots of other spots. It's an important book that lots of other people are referencing. It's one of the things I'm hoping that we see long term as I get more notes in. That's the thing. You've got to have enough notes in here in any of these systems to really make it work. Otherwise, it just won't. Now, one of the other things you can do when you get started is install the help docs. Under help, hit add to install the help docs, which I have done. So you can do getting started with Obsidian. Oh, that's not it. It's under Obsidian help. Right, and I'll show you everything to do. Start here. Right, and they've got a whole network of linked notes in here for you to go through and just learn Obsidian. I think you should do it. I admit that I didn't. start this way. I'm a little more seat of your pants when it comes to trying out new applications and just, hey, didn't know it does this and stuff like that. But going this way will help you just know what it can do right off the bat, right? So look, it does highlights. I actually didn't know it did highlights because I didn't know with the equal signs. So with Markdown, it actually lets you do a bunch of this stuff. Like Markdown is a very well-known markup language that I use for lots of stuff that most people use. It lets you create a link fairly easily, right? Right. This is a link, and I could link it to that's it. That is now a link. All right, and it has the preview mode. We could see that it is a link right there. Take you off to my site, curtismchale.ca. There you go, my site. One thing they're going to do, they've already said they've implemented it, is highlighting text. So I can do this is a link, and then Command or Control K, depending on if your Mac or Windows, will create a link, which is fairly standard for a lot of Markdown applications. Actually goes to the speed of development on that. I suggested that like one night this week, and they said, oh, it's already implemented for the next version, which is coming out later this week, I'm assuming, because they've brought them out so fast. Let's jump back to my beginning note. All right, so installing it is fairly easy. If you go to Obsidian, the site, request early access, you're going to get a Google form, and then you're actually going to get a Dropbox link, and just drag, drop, install it. If you're on Mac, you are going to get the warning that says, hey, this application isn't wonderful. We don't know about it. Just hit open, bypass it, you're good to go. So some of the things we have our File Explorer on this side. If we can do new note, new folder, and you can change our sort order if we want. You can hide it with that. You can't open it with that. That's a bug they need to fix maybe. And I also have in keyboard commands, you can set hide and show the left or right sidebars. I have it to Shift Command L for the left, Shift Command R for the right. We have our search in files to search anything if we want, right? So I can search to summarize, which is articles I need to summarize. Automating, right, some DevonThink stuff, broken window theory, some other stuff like that that I don't have summarized for my own notes yet. And I would like to go back through and summarize those properly. As I think about broken window theory, which is the idea that in a neighborhood, everything's gonna be fine, but as soon as one window gets broken, everyone's like, oh, it's a trashy neighborhood, let's get out of here. Like, let's start trashing stuff. We can star files, and there's a toggle command for that. I haven't done that very often, so let's look it up. Where is it? You see there's lots of keyboard commands here. Star on star file right there. So I have it as Control S to star on star file, and it'll show up here. You can also in your File Explorer go to star. That's it. Open the quick switcher, right? That's this thing. It's also Command O will open that, and that will a new note. If you don't have it, I can hit enter, and this will make a new note. Or I can just open up a note, as you've seen me do a few times. Right, I can say getting started with Obsidian, my daily, Paulette, prob, client of mine. Then we have our graph view. That's an interesting thing. So this happens every so often. So what we'll do here is we'll just quit it and open it again. That's a bug that they are aware of and that they are going to fix. Graph view. There we go. Let's Shift Command L, Shift Command R. And so this is going to let me do connect notes, right? So I can go in here and I can say, so I have best research app, and these are all the ones I'm working on, right? I have RemNote, Athens, Zettler, Agenda. You see them all over here, right? Joplin, Amplenote, Rome Research, and Rome Research connects off to a few other things, right? To Xiaomi, which is a YouTuber that does some tutorials on Rome, on Rome Research, to Tiddly Rome, which is a TiddlyWiki implementation that is similar to Rome Research. Stroll, it's the same thing, TiddlyWiki implementation. So it goes to TiddlyWiki questions as well, and that links out to Obsidian and to my Getting Started with Obsidian tutorial, right? It lets me see Obsidian has all these different notes, right? Internal linking. It actually links back to some of the internal guide here as well. And then all the tutorials that I have, pro or con, and the one I'm doing right now. Also lets me see stuff like this. This was like a little unconnected chunk over here that I have nothing for. These are some books that I've read around Native American, Indian issues. It's kind of centering around Canada because that's where I am. So I know that I have more to do here because I don't have a lot of connected thought in this area. So I need to do more on that. Same with Matt Gemmell. In theory, that's a parenting one. I don't have a lot that connects to that yet either. In The Second Mountain is a book I'm reading currently. You see there's lots of different stuff in there, and it connects to getting started with Obsidian because I linked it in my note that says, show off the book note for The Second Mountain. So we can actually do that. We can hit Option Enter, and you can see that. So this is my book note, right? I start with the author up top, summary, which I'll fill in, questions. Just as I'm going, like, what questions do I have about, like, what is this book? So why is that second section of marriage even there? I'm actually not sure how it relates to his idea of Second Mountain. Interesting books mentioned, and then stories I want to grab out of the book. Right there. So all of these books are in there, and they're mentioned in there at some point. And I thought, hey, that sounds like an interesting book to read. This is the first book that I've taken this way. I have gone back and taken some of my other ones in there. What was the other one? How to do nothing. No, I don't have that one in there. What did I do? Oh, I did Stillness is the Key. So that's Stillness is the Key. I can already say also in here notes. So this is the actual review I did. I just copied and pasted this because I keep them all in Markdown anyways. And then I just added like indistractable. Right, I added the double quotes to indistractable because that does not something that's in normal Markdown. And I can say Stillness is the Key notes. Those are my actual notes, my raw notes for the book, kind of as I'm going. Now I actually use them in a handwritten notebook because I think that's a good filtering thing. If it's not worth writing down by hand, then it's just not worth it. Right, so I can see my full review here. You'll find this actually on my site in this format exactly, except for the wiki links because I don't have those. They wouldn't do anything on my site. Now I have Stillness is the Key, right? Book goes to Stillness is the Key. Steady while the world spins. So something we can do is we'll split. I love the splits here. Split vertically, and I'll just show you what this actually looks like because we're talking about transcluding now or linking. So this exclamation point at the beginning of the double square brackets turns into that. It actually is including my quote, which is in another note. Right? I can go, they've just changed this keyboard command. There you go. So that's my actual note right here. And it includes it in. I did that so that as I'm working later on with more stuff, I can say, oh, this reminds me of Stillness is the Key. Well, what quote was it in Stillness is the Key? And I can link directly to this quote in Stillness is the Key. So I can keep seeing what other quotes am I connecting to regularly. And then I tagged it as well. That's what that turns into. So another thing I can do as well is I can, works even if I include headings to notes. So that means I can go, edit. I could say, let's include something out of Stillness is the Key notes. So I can go, Stillness is the Key notes, and I hit the pound symbol, and that's going to bring up the headings. I could say, mind, right? And if I hit, I can split again. This is why I love it. Split again. Hit preview, you can see that it's Stillness is the Key notes mind. And then when I hover over it, it gives me the summary of that. And I could also go and just include from that heading. Now I have the mind ones in here, right? So I can specifically link the mind. Something I use this for is actually for client notes. So if I go to Prov, one of my clients, I can do that. And this actually links to what I did for them on yesterday. And then I can also, right at the top, I say left off at. So today when I work for this client, I will again say like, this is what I did. And I will come over to this note, include their heading, and just list kind of what I'm doing throughout the day with the times, right? Sent an invite to QA, ticket 90. These are all GitHub ticket numbers that link off to the GitHub tickets. Worked on this, sent it to QA at 1403, 203. Approved and rolled out at this time, right? Rolling out to Kalosha, another site. The DNR flag, which is ticket 73. Back working on the final checks, right? And this is kind of skips around because I jumped between these two things a few times. This thing's got approved, so I could do it. And I researched clear WooCommerce cart if team DNR. And so I just wrote some code down there that I'll need so that next time I can come out and you can see right there. And this is what I'll need. So when I come to start working on this client again, I can just come right back to this note, find out where I left off, and then actually go to my daily note and say, right, I didn't do this. I So I will work with them later today, so let's just add it right now. Right, we'll go prov, and then I'll go prov. And then over here, I will say, let's include it again. We'll go, this is 2020 05 21. All right, pound prov. And then when I come in here, what I worked on, and it should show up. Occasionally I do find, like if I have this preview left open for a while, won't update live all the time. More what I worked on, right? It's not going to update live. If we click through, see, it doesn't even update right away there, but it does update. It will embed. And if we close it and we open prov again, then we should see it this time, I believe. Yep, where I worked on more. So getting started with Obsidian. I don't actually want this included in here. Right, I showed you linked and unlinked references. Embedding an image is fairly easy. So let's just go to, let's just open up my site maybe. And we should be able to grab this image. Oh, no, I can't grab that image. Let's go to iPad or mouse. What do you, all right, for your iPad, what do you want? Actually, Devin think we'll have it. So it should have some screenshots in there. It doesn't. Oh, geez, should have prepared for that one. There you go. All right, our reader will have one, some for sure. Reader, let's grab this save image as bionic reading, which is a thing that reader has. Let's go to downloads. Bionic reading is there, so we can just grab it and drop it into Obsidian. And now I have this in there, and it's actually included, so we should be able to see that when we get in here. So I can do that. This is actually just in my files. This is my Obsidian fault. You can see a bionic reading is now in my files. It's excellent, but I don't actually want that there. And it's synced again. Let's talk about synchronization then. So one thing to note is that I am iPadOS mainly, especially when it comes to reading notes, taking notes, reading books, stuff like that. And Obsidian is not on iPadOS, but it is simply a list of markdown files, which is cool. That lets me use something like OneWriter or iWriter to edit my markdown files and just keep going with it. So that sync job you've seen come up a few times is actually kind of a kludgy way, because I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to sync yet, what applications I'm going to use. So what it's going to do is it actually takes these two folders and syncs them. This is Obsidian and iCloud, which iWriter can access. And this is Obsidian and Dropbox, which OneWriter can access. And it syncs them every 15 minutes back and forth so that I can see them in both spots. So that's it. Otherwise, you can sync it however you want. You have these files. So if you decide that OneWriter is the best, and OneWriter will follow wiki links, so it would follow this link and find the second mountain. It will not follow them into, say, I was linking to my daily note inside a folder. It will not do that, right? And my daily notes are simply inside this folder here. Another thing that OneWriter does, or this does really well, Obsidian, is if I say new note, there is no new note, hit escape. And so, but that new note should come up in, no, this is actually, that's the thing. It's not always coming up here. But this new note is like, it's already created for me as soon as I start working on it, right? So if I just click on it, command click, we have our new note right there. You see it showed up, and it is over here. Something we just talked about in the forum, I'm gonna show you that in a minute, is creating these by default as soon as you mention it, or within a little bit, because you could also do, let's delete that. Don't want that file either. You could also, like in my instance with working with OneWriter, I could be like, what was the name of that note that I didn't quite create? And it would actually create it for me, show me. So we talked about that in the forums. Forums are found at .obsidian.md, forum.obsidian.md. And it is a fairly active forum. It's fairly new as well. There's a bunch of notes for me, so I'll go through that, right? And there's a bunch of feature requests in there. They're implementing things fast. There's also an excellent Discord channel right here with that people are answering things on really good, right? about tables. So I asked one about how do you zoom the graph? And at this point, you zoom the graph by open graph. You see it again. One of the bugs, Obsidian. There we go. At this point, you zoom the graph. Let's just kill that again by hitting Command plus or Control plus or minus. It's just zooming the entire interface. So that's something you can do. There's some talk about supporting advanced search operators. So in here, you could go search in files, start typing your search. And as the files changed here, it would change your graph as well. That's not implemented yet, or say something like with your tags to your right. Say what's to read. It's giving me my search over there, but changing your graph here, what's to read, right? And maybe even go I don't know if this is happening, but being able to shift click and say marriage to read. So it does filter here, but I'd love to see over here, like what filters, so that I can see it and then I can know what else is mentioning this, what else is mentioning books about marriage to read. Keep saying marriage because that's the one I know I have a bunch of books in yet. I'm still going back to a bunch of my other stuff to enter more notes in. So I think I have about 500 books reviewed, something like that. I don't know, somewhere in there, lots. Definitely like a 200 written reviews on my site of books, and I've definitely taken notes on more. I think that's really it. Let's go back to my note. Getting started with Obsidian. Zoom the graph. Vim keys is something I like because I'm a Vim nerd. There are actual Vim keys. You can see I have a green cursor. I hit A, and it allows me to edit. So lots of people aren't going to use this. That's a plugin you turn on. What else? We did the graph, we did the Vim keys, show off the book note. How long is the wait currently? The wait seems to be a couple days, maybe a day. I know I did it just early last week. It was like right away pretty much. People are saying in Discord and the forum that it's taking a day or so. So just hang on, you should get access fairly quick. Talked about iPad, talked about please print article. I should put this in here by trick. Oh. All right. Talked about the comparison between Obsidian. I think we did it. Right, Control, Command D. So Mac is Command, Windows is Control mostly. There's a few keyboard commands for Mac people that don't switch over to Command, but I brought those up. They've seen it and they're fixing those. Perfect. I think that's it. Talked about Discord, talked about iOS. That's it. You've seen it. We can talk about plugins a bit more. There's a bunch more plugins. There's a bunch more settings in here, right? Whether we auto pair brackets, whether we auto pair markdown, whether we smart indent lists. Love that. Smart indent lists is this, right? I'm going to drag it in, shift tab. I don't know why applications don't do that. All right. Fold headings. So I can actually go to, what is the one I can just do? Let's go to today's note. Today's note. I can fold a heading down if I don't want to see it, review, right? So if you're trying to show something off and you have some sensitive information, you can just collapse that day. We can also fold indents. So this would let us fold portions, right? So do I need to review this? Let's go to getting started with Obsidian. Yep, so I can fold indents and stuff if you want. I never actually use this, but I'm going to leave it on now. Show line number. I like that, programmer nerd. Vim key bindings, use tabs. Plugins, there's a bunch, right? Whether you can turn on or off the file explorer, how search works, the quick switcher, that's all on. Graph view is on, backlinks is on, tag pane is on. Starred was not on at the beginning. Word count I don't think was on. I don't do slides, I don't do the audio recorder. Open with default app, which will let you open the file or the stuff with your default app. So like your default markdown thing. Page preview is on. You can also do custom CSS. I actually love this one theme. Let's go into, where is that? Share and showcase, I think. I love this theme. This is like the only theme I think I want to do, 80s neon. Doesn't that look beautiful? So you can do that. It's just CSS, and you can install that. I'm going to show how to install a theme, how to tweak a theme in a future tutorial. Not right now, but I love this 80s theme. The command palette, type of command to invoke it. So you can go command palette, I believe, command P. So this is showing you all the commands, all your keyboard commands in here, what you can do. So if you want to do something and you don't have a keyboard command for it, open today's note, right? Navigate back, forward, open vault location, because you can have different vaults if you want to switch back and forth. I think we're going to switch this over to We're going to switch this over to toggle theme because Yeah, because it's two different commands right now. Delete files, right? Split vertical, split horizontal. I don't know why it shows that T, because it's an S, but anyways. Close active pane, Command W, toggle sidebars. What else do we have in here? We've got daily notes. I showed you Zettelkasten prefixer. That is a totally different thing. We're going to show you later. Random note. This could be risky. Random note. Shorter. Another book review I did. It's fine. Shorter. So I can actually look in this because I actually know this was my friend. Here's something I can add right now. Let's go. This is just modifying a Justin Jackson, because I know it was Justin Jackson who pointed that out. So now as I keep going, I'll see everything that links to Justin Jackson in there. Back to this. Plugins, I think that's all of them. Appearance, you have two different themes. It's going to come with a dark theme. I just don't love it in this case. It's not bad. I don't like it. I use dark themes and other stuff. You can set all your hotkeys. All right, I set a bunch of them. Delete current file. That's pretty easy to do. Let's go Command backspace. That will do it. You can use that multiple, right? I could do it again if I wanted and have multiple key commands for something. Open settings is in there. Vault, choose where my vault is. Help, this is where we add our help docs. I suggest you do that. And then about, which tells you the version you're on. It also says it right up here. That's it. I don't have anything else to show you today. This is a tour of Obsidian, a little bit about how I'm using it and just kind of how it all works. You've seen the tag panes, you've seen it all. If you really liked the video, you can give me a thumbs up below. If you loved it, you can subscribe, and I guess you hit the bell so that YouTube lets you know when I put out new videos. But make sure your notifications are off on your devices because you got better things to do, like read or take notes on stuff instead. If you absolutely love everything and you think, I don't know, you'd like my office that you can see, then you can go to patreon.com/CurtisMcHale and support the channel. Have an excellent day.